or just either or.
Everything is real.
The pictures are real. Yes. So the Wolf of Wall Street. You ever seen that scene?
No, I haven't seen the movie.
It's Matthew McConaughey.
My friend was just telling me the other day, whom is also a police officer, he was watching a semi-driver watch it on an iPad as he was driving down the road, and it was that part of that scene.
It's even if you don't watch the movie, that scene's great.
Yeah.
Because what's his name?
Matthew McConaughey.
Not Matthew, but the other actor that plays Jordan Belfont is a Titanic actor. What? I can't remember his name.
His name is Leonardo DiCaprio.
He does great in it.
Leonardo. Hey, man.
Hey, Levi.
Episode numero dos. So let's just start this off by saying a very heartfelt thank you to now, we just saw this, 75 people.
And that is, since yesterday, like, what,
50%?
Yeah, increase.
Yeah. And
on the Arena podcast.
Yeah, and we're thankful that that 75 people are willing to listen to our complete shenanigans. And they have no clue.
They've not heard the pre-show stuff. But we're going to put it out there.
They haven't. We just sang a song about it was psilocybin. It was great. Psilocybin.
We've been talking about a lot of stuff.
We have. And one thing that I do want to talk about is last podcast, we actually spent about 10 to 15 minutes talking about what we were going to wear. And I was like on the fence about like a black t-shirt or having an Arena podcast shirt. And I ended up, you were wanting
to wear uniforms.
Yeah. Like a Lex Friedman suit and tie.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Bow tie. But I ended up wearing a Nobody Cares Work Harder shirt by Cam Hanes.
Mm-hmm.
And today you have a Memento Mori. And this shirt means a lot to me as a direct result of the Fearless 44. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your shirt, Mr. Marty Thomas?
Well, it's Latin. Remember you shall die. And so, I think a lot about death in a healthy way, probably.
Yeah.
I think you should go to like a college speech or a high school graduation speech, and the first thing you say is, "All of you are going to die one day," and start right there.
Yeah, you would certainly have the attention of the room.
Now build your life with that end in mind.
Yeah.
So that is sort of the idea behind Memento Mori. It's like it's positive, it's not negative. We're all destined for the grave. Remember, you shall die. So I want to wake up every day remembering this could be my last day. And so it's basically in a backwards way or a reverse way of saying live life to the fullest.
Yeah. So you got
it's got the skull,
Yeah. Kinda. You got myself and your son Justin a Memento Mori sticker. It's on my Yeti water deal. Did you get one for the millennial?
No.
You need to send him one.
Yeah.
Daniel the millennial.
That would be you, Daniel Thomas.
Daniel the millennial. The Montana millennial.
He calls me a millennial all the time because I have Instagram, because I have fake plants in the house.
They are. I mean, I gotta say, they are fairly millennial.
So those are real. The snake plant's real.
Ooh.
Yeah.
My shirt says, "Lead me, follow me, or get out of my way." General Patton.
I like that.
Yeah, I think two things. First thing is it's important to me because in order to be a leader, you have to be a follower. So this first says, "Lead me." Like I'm willing to follow. But if you don't lead me, then follow me. And if you don't do either of those, then skiddly do daddle and get out of the way.
And this is your lucky shirt.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
While I was thinking about this, get the wrong one. Get the out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. So
sounds like something Patton would say.
Yeah.
He was an awesome general.
Yeah, he was.
He was hardcore.
Yeah, that makes the best kind. Like, are there hardcore generals in the service now? I don't know. Maybe. Surely some.
But I guess. I hadn't kept up with it.
And then the back says, infantry leads the way.
Cool. Infantry leads the way. We were both infantry.
Yeah. The second thing that I was gonna say was, this is my lucky shirt. Every time I've had an interview for anything in the past like 10 years, I've wore the shirt underneath the suit. So
It's a nice shirt.
yeah, so the shirt game is important to us.
Yeah.
It's not.
We're
I
gonna-
don't think we're gonna discuss it every time.
No, but we're gonna have to think about shirts to buy from now on.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to wear the same shirt. Maybe next in a
Yeah.
year. So we got to keep. We're
No.
open to shirt ideas. If anyone has a shirt idea, we're open to shirt ideas.
Yeah,
As long as it's really cool.
I
It's got to be black or blue or
like charcoal gray.
charcoal gray, feather gray. Not
I
feather
only
gray.
wear like dark colors.
Yeah, me too. Red. I do red.
I have a shirt in there that says "good."
Yeah.
Ashley
Jocko.
bought it for me.
Jocko.
So we talked a lot about last time about the Arena podcast, what it
Yep.
is, the foundation of our thoughts, the bricklaying or the concrete layer of what we're going to build on top of this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is yet another foundational episode centered around Mr. Marty Thomas, Marty Wayne, Marty Joe, what is it?
Marlin.
Marty Lynn.
Marty Wayne. My mom, by the way, next time you see her,
Who
You're-
was born in
you're in trouble.
1982. She
You're
was
in-
born in 82.
you're in
She,
trouble because you posed the idea of, like, was she around in 1910?
I know, but that was a joke.
For Teddy Roebuck's speech, The Man in the Arena. By the way, that's
That
what this
was
is
a
based off of, The
joke.
Man in the Arena.
Yeah.
Like her mom wasn't even born then. Ooh, yeah, you're in trouble. Anyway, we're moving on.
Hey,
She'll forgive
I'll
you.
tell her like I tell people every day.
Probably can get a booty beating.
She is however old she is, but she does not look a day over 23.
That's
so,
a good one.
yeah.
That's a good one.
So what is the story of Marty Lynn?
Marty Lynn Tom, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about my story, your story, and specifically, because you can talk about a lot of things, but I specifically want to talk about my shroom trip
Mhm.
in 1989.
Tripping.
Psilocybin. We wrote a song.
Tripping
We
ball.
wrote a song about psilocybin just a minute ago. On the fly, man.
We'll post it. We'll post it. It is hilarious.
Psilocybin. So yeah, I do for real, serious. This experience that I had June 28th, 1989 with psilocybin was a life-changing, transformational moment. 3 years ago,
Mhm.
right? 33 years ago.
33 years ago, 3 days ago.
33 years ago, 3 days ago. And we were kind of talking about this last night, but I did shrooms. Good old-fashioned shrooms that grow under the cow crap here in East Texas. And they smell and taste just like that, I would imagine. And let me back up and say I came here to Tyler, Texas. I live in Lindale, so Tyler's down
which
there.
is just a bucket full of irony.
I know. It's a bucket full of irony. I came down here in 1989 on a drug deal to buy ecstasy. I loved ecstasy.
Yeah.
I did ecstasy.
There's a famous song by Jay-Z that says, MDMA got you feeling like a champion. City never sleeps, better slip you an Ambien.
Yeah. I liked drugs a lot when I was a teenager. I did all of them.
Why?
Cocaine,
Like
meth.
when we say teenager, we're not talking 13. We're talking
No, well, I'd probably smoked. I think I smoked marijuana. I never liked marijuana. That's probably the only thing I really didn't get into. Smoked marijuana when I was 9th grade, just because. And then I got into cocaine, meth, hash, and then I found ecstasy. And I had done acid. And so I came down to Tyler, Texas in 1989 to buy the drug of choice. I was kind of a drug dealer, a
Yeah.
small-time drug dealer.
I got what you need,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Well,
It's your-
when you're doing ecstasy, like if anyone's ever done it, so we would buy it for $12.50 a hit and sell it for $25. But when you're on,
100% profit.
but when you're on it, it's so everything's just so lovey-dovey. You're like, here, brother, have one.
Yeah, he can have it for 18.
I was a bad drug dealer. I was a bad businessman.
Yeah.
But anyway, came to Tyler to do that. And so let's pause there and let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
Before we get into this story, let's talk about psilocybin.
Yes.
I'm finally getting it right.
Yeah,
I say
you are.
that dyslexic a lot. We're not endorsing this.
No.
You know, we're not encouraging anyone to go do drugs. I'm not saying doing shrooms is the answer or a way to go, but there is a lot of research out there on it now, and
Yeah.
it's been around. This fungi has been around since probably 7,000 years. It's documented, like in the Algerian. They found Algerian paintings in the cave where they were doing psilocybin back then, and there's a lot of theory about how it created self-awareness within humans and all this. I don't know. I'm not going to get
Yeah.
into those weeds, but there's a lot of research now about it. There's mycologists, which are the study of fungi. So there's actually doctors, PhD level doctors, that are studying shrooms and the use of shrooms and how psychedelics actually help you.
Yeah.
A lot of positive writing out there. You know, people go check it out yourself, you know,
Right.
but there's a lot of positive things about
Well, they're also
DMT, is it called DMT?
Yeah.
And other drugs that are helping people with
ayahuasca.
ayahuasca, that are helping people with PTSD and other forms
Yeah,
of
so
anxiety.
they're actually, the VA actually is microdosing mushrooms with an accompaniment, if that's even a word, with like a psychiatrist, and they're helping people with PTSD using
Pairing it,
pairing, accompanying is like
accompanying it, yeah. Collaborate. I don't know. I see what I'm going to
collaboration.
I know what
Yeah,
you
and
mean.
they're doing it with psychiatrists, and they're helping people with PTSD, and they're using ketamine too. So they're starting to use some of these drugs that have euphoric properties and some healing of the brains coming from it. We think.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
So, again, before we get into the story, I just wanted to open it up with that and say it's very interesting to see how this is being studied, and it's been around for thousands of years, the use of psychedelics. It's helped a lot of people. There's a lot of people being helped by it. It did something to me.
Yeah.
I've only done them one time.
Yeah. So thousands of years. How many thousands of years? We're talking like 9,000.
Well, they found drawings in the Algerian cave around 7,000 to 8,000 years, is what they say.
Which was like mushrooms with like faces.
It was a mushroom body
Yeah.
with like a human face,
Yeah.
or with stick legs and hands, actually holding a mushroom. We can put this in the description.
Ashley.
And there's a dot going from the mushroom that's being held in the hand to the head of the mushroom person, and they think it was implying enlightenment or advanced knowledge, because from my own experience, I went from one moment to the next, you know, somewhat changed. Now, mine
We're going
was
to talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. Mine was spiritual as well. There's the component of God mixed with shrooms. For years, I always just called it my testimony, you know, within the church, my testimony, brother.
Well,
And-
for
and-
33 years, most of the time you told a story has been behind a pulpit.
Yeah, it was. And it is my testimony, so to speak. But I think I've maybe discredited the psilocybin part of it. You know, like, let's not just throw the baby out with the dirty water. So we'll get into that story.
So let me interject something.
Mhm.
What's the guy's name is on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast? It was Paul
Stamens. I
he
believe it's
talks
Stamens.
about this mushroom from, I think, Siberia. My wife and I listened to it on the way to the great state of East Texas. And let me just say, there is an energy when you enter Texas that is unlike any other state.
You think so?
I think so, man. I don't know what it is.
Texas is a happening place.
Yeah, man.
Big time.
Just something in the air.
People are moving here by the bucket loads.
I think it happened in Siberia. There's a specific mushroom that grows there, and it's the classic like Mario mushroom with red and white, and it would glisten. And guess where it grows? It grows under Christmas trees, like pines or evergreens or whatever that tree is.
Mm-hmm.
It grows under Christmas trees, but then there's a lot of parallels to Christmas and mushrooms. So, for example, guess what the number one animal to eat the mushroom other than human is?
I'm guessing like Rudolph.
Exactly. Reindeer. And then there's another parallel with shaman. The in Siberia, it snows so bad that they use these mushrooms for medicinal purposes. And guess how the shaman got in the house? Through the chimney, because the door was snowed over with snow. So there's a bunch of parallels that this Paul guy talks about with Christmas and Santa Claus, red and white, mushrooms red and white. So I guess I say that to say that, because I'm not subscribing to that idea. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying like this is what happened. This is what Santa Claus came from. What I'm saying is that throughout different cultures in the world, the history of the world, psychedelic drugs seem to have played a role in the culture and society
Mm-hmm.
in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm not saying it defined what we are or defined who we are or defined how we've done it, but what I am saying is that it does keep showing up. And as a direct result of that, I am super interested in just that. I'm not condoning the use of drugs. I will never do psychedelic as a result of my occupation and just who I am right now as a person. But I am interested in learning, and I am interested in going down these rabbit trails. And so here we are.
That's good. And when we say the words or the word drug or the word drugs, unfortunately, everything gets thrown in a single bucket.
Sure.
Now, homemade bathtub crank meth, I'm pretty sure there's not any advantages medically or psychologically with that. Probably the same being true of cocaine, even though it was used medicinally at first.
Yeah.
Marijuana,
cocaine, interestingly enough, is one of the only drugs that has anesthetic properties.
Mm-hmm.
They used to use it dentists used to use it back in the day for numbing of the gums.
Yeah. Marijuana, I don't want to go down the trail of marijuana, but I think there's some uses medicinally. Psychedelics, I think, is a whole nother bucket.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's been thrown in the same bucket.
Yeah.
And again, I'm neither condoning or not. I'm like going, there's historical, empirical evidence that people have used psychedelics thousands of years.
Yeah.
And there's been benefits to it.
Yeah.
I think one needs to study and research and look and be educated. And it may not even be something someone needs to do. So, my story, you want to go there?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you interject whenever you want to.
Yep.
So, June 28th, 1989, 33 years and 3 days ago. Before that, I won't do a lot of things back then, but born in Dardanelle, Arkansas, home of the sand lizards.
And as we spoke last night, it's the only sand lizard mascot in existence in the entire world.
And we're proud of that.
Clearly.
When I was in the Army, I never had thought about it. And you were in the Army. You run out of things to talk about.
I was a Mustang and a Hornet, but there's lots of Mustangs and Hornets.
Yeah, but someone asked me what my mascot was. I said sand lizard, and it's from there on because I had never, everyone being raised where I was at, everyone knew about the sand lizards. But when you get out of Dardanelle, people are like, a sand what?
Yeah,
a sand lizard.
And
what's a sand lizard?
Komodo dragon.
Well, they kind of turned it in the beginning when I was in school. It looked like a little lizard, but now it's turned into this beastly, dinosaurish type thing. But anyway, born to my parents, and anyway, my parents got a divorce when I was young. My dad was a combat veteran, Vietnam, PTSD. He had a lot of issues. He's a hardcore biker, and
he's an outlaw.
He's an outlaw. Spent a little time in prison.
Does he have tattoos?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Grim Reaper, FTW.
Oh yeah, come on.
He's hard, man. It was hard. Dude. There used
is
to be
FTW like what I'm thinking?
It is what you're thinking.
Okay.
F the world, yeah. So back
the world,
right now he's a sweetheart now.
Yeah,
he's calmed down, age, and he's there's that's a whole nother conversation. But
yeah, we've talked about doing an episode to dads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but leading up to that, I had that. I was a pretty good kid, pretty decent kid, and parents were in church, mainly in church. But whenever I got to at the age of 7th, 8th grade, I started really I started experimenting with music and things like that. And then.
So that's when you started playing the drums?
Yeah, kind of. I was in school band, marching band, and concert band in school. And I had a drum set, a partial drum set, didn't know what I was doing. So, again, I was a pretty good kid up to about let's say 8th or 9th grade. And then, puberty and different things going on in my life. I remember going and staying the night with a friend of mine named Michael Craig.
Michael Craig.
Church friend of mine, and he plays Motley Crue, the video, Livewire.
What did you play the video on in whenever this was? VHS?
I was it may have been on MTV.
Oh, okay.
May have been a music video. MTV was a big thing then.
Yeah.
And the drums are awesome on that song. We'll post this. Actually, we'll post Livewire Motley Crue. So, I hear that, and the bug. I'm gonna play drums, because I had a set,
Mhm.
and I was in school band, but I was like, I'm gonna really get into playing drums here, and I did. I taught myself how to play, but and also learning how to play drums, I wanted to be a rock star. I don't know where that came from, but I was just seriously wanting to be a rock star. I wanted to start a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
And I was hungry for it, man. Hardcore into it. And me and my buddy Aaron Hoffman, we started one called Crazy Ace. And we had a lot of we did cover songs, like Judas Priest and Born to Be Wild and
Did you ever
Anarchy
cover
in the UK.
So I was looking at Journey this morning. I was listening to some Journey stuff, and some of their stuff's out, late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, was that
Journey's
too soft for
it's
you
too
guys, or-
soft.
yeah.
This was
Journey was like the worship band. You guys were like,
we were playing the Sex Pistols and
Oh, yeah.
Anarchy in the UK.
yeah,
A lot of AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
And we had our original songs. Original songs that
if,
we wrote.
if you're following us, you've already seen that have we posted this already?
Yeah.
Okay. So you may have already seen that we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of you had one of your greatest hits was Dreams.
Pull my rope. Small Town Dreamer, Pull My Rope. I can't remember all of them.
So who came up with the Pull My Rope?
Me and my cousin.
How do you go?
I don't know.
You just sit on the couch and think about songs.
We were kids, man. We were like 16. Anyway, let's come back. So I'm like 16. Let's go 16, 17, and 18 years old.
Yeah.
I'm in a band. I'm doing drugs. I drop out of school.
Moving with your dad. Your real dad.
Moving with my real dad.
Yeah.
Twice. And I think I kind of left home like 4 times between 16 and 18, back and forth to my mom's house. And was out there. I was spun out, man. I was really starting to do stuff. Like me and my buddy Aaron, we were always getting in fights with people. And
How were you making money? Was your rock band making you money?
No.
No.
No. We'd probably spending money to play gigs,
Yeah.
but we'd make enough to pay gas and stuff. We all work, odd jobs.
Okay.
Restaurant here, gas station there, just whatever it took.
Did you ever sell cars for Al?
Yeah, later.
Okay.
This was after then.
Okay.
He and I didn't have the best relationship when I was a teenager. Like all of my parents and I were not on the best terms when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Other than my real dad. So anyway, I'm just trying to give you the state of mind when I come to that's mostly what I'm trying to say. I'm not. So I come to Tyler in 1980, broke up with my girlfriend. I'd already been experimenting with a lot of drugs. I'd already been in a band, and I was in a dark place, man. Life just seemed real dark to me, and I was really had addictive tendencies. So I come down here to Tyler, and we try the shrooms. They don't have the drugs that we're supposed to get ecstasy, like $1,800 worth of ecstasy, and go back and sell them.
Yeah.
But we don't have them.
So so you came to Tyler, Texas. Where did you go?
Old Buller Crossing Road. There's an apartment complex down there.
Still there?
Mm-hmm. Still
Hasn't
there.
been bulldozed?
No. The apartment.
Are people living there? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apartment Victory V6. Victory 6.
Could you go? That would be so cool to go there.
I have before.
Have you really?
Years ago, I knocked on the door and I said, "Hey, I had an experience here." Yeah, I have.
And they let you in?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. Was it weird?
Yeah.
Okay, so you walk in.
It's just
like
a little
small one bedroom.
1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
So, my buddy Everett, it's his ex-wife, and my buddy Aaron are with me. So we go in this room, and there's these shrooms under this black bags, and they stink, man.
They're on cow patties.
They stink.
Legitimately.
So he's like, "You want to try some shroom tea?" And at that particular state of mind I was in my life, I was willing to do anything. I was in a kind of a dark place, a little depressed.
Yeah.
Girlfriend and I broke up, and that lifestyle was kind of starting to wear me down.
Yeah.
And so we drink this stuff, and it's nasty. So let's get to it. So we're sitting in this 1-bedroom apartment, right? So here's my buddy Aaron. Here's me. Here's Everett, and there's like probably 7 to 8 people. I don't even know who these other people are. Didn't even care.
Yeah.
And Aaron, after he drank it, he pukes a little bit.
Because of the taste?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad, man. So I'm sitting there, and he's kind of it's like a love seat. I'm looking at him at an angle, Aaron, and dude, we start laughing
Like
and
harder than pull my rope last night.
beyond harder than that. We were
Made me
laughing
cry.
so hard, and we don't even know why we were laughing. And it was almost like a panic attack because
Yeah.
because you couldn't stop. Like my gut hurt so much, and I was just crying like tears. Hardest I've ever laughed in my entire life. Aaron can verify this. We're both laughing. And dude, I leaned back in this chair, this couch.
Yeah.
And boom, I'm gone, man. I went to another place. No controlling it. I've been on drugs
did it
before
feel
where
like
I've
you
been
were shot out of like into the
kaleidoscope.
universe?
Kaleidoscope.
Oh yeah.
Went through a kaleidoscope.
So like geometrical shapes and
Well, I'm in this room, but I went into another place, but it looked just like this room, but people were thinking and talking differently. And so I'm in this place, and everybody has this sense that they know something that I don't know. They're not expressly telling me.
Yeah.
So literally, like here, you and I are right now. I see you right now, and this is reality as far as we know it, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, it may be something else, but as far
could
as
be
we
a
know,
simulation.
could be. But right now, it's reality.
Yeah.
But I go into this kaleidoscope to another world, and it looks exactly like this one, except you act different in that world.
Mhm.
You know something I don't know, but you're not telling
But I
me.
know that you're fixing to find it out.
But yes, you know that I'm fixing to find out.
Yeah.
And I know that you know that I'm fixing to find it out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. You can
But
see
you're
it on
not-
my body language.
Yeah, in your
Yeah.
eyes. And every time I had an experience. So, and this is a bunch of random details I'm going to get into, but it all kind of connects. So I would see this and I would just see things but then I could come back, not at will. Nothing was at will, but I would come back into my current state, like in what I call reality, and look around, nobody's having this experience but me. And I couldn't stay there long. The experience would take me back to that world, but I'd
Yeah.
go back and it would be a different scenario every time.
Okay.
So this time I go in there and there's literally the TV's on in the apartment. Well, in this new world, people start coming off of the TV, and they're the exact same size as they are on the TV.
Those miniature people.
Well, they're like this big,
Yeah.
like so it looks. So they'd come off, and they didn't talk to me either, but they just would walk by me, but they had that look in their eye, like you're about to learn something that you don't know.
Yeah.
And so I kept experiencing things like this. And so that's kind of like phase one. I don't know necessarily what that meant other than it was laying the groundwork. Within phase two, there was two specific people that were there. They were conveyed to me, or their feelings or their opinion. Like my stepdad was one of them. My stepdad, Al, and I had kind of a tumultuous relationship in my teenage years. He was a pretty impatient guy, and I was a typical
Yeah, but he
rebellious
was
teen.
just, and we'll talk about this more. But he's like super organized and just.
Oh yeah, he's
just
type A,
great
man.
Just,
Oh, he's a super cool guy. He's
Yeah.
an awesome human being.
but we
But
talked about
he is
last
the
episode,
epitome of a
maybe,
type A.
yeah, like his closet's perfectly
It's
organized,
perfect.
color coded, and
And he's not. He's such a guy. He's awesome. It's
Yeah.
so cool. All my parents are awesome. But I just want to say that, Mom, and whoever's listening, like my parents are, all three of them. I love them deeply.
Yeah.
We're talking 30-something years ago, and I love them then too. But I'd had a kind of a tumultuous relationship with him. But his presence, I actually did not see him
Mhm.
in this experience on psilocybin. But I feel him like he's large in the room.
okay,
His presence is almost like godlike.
Yeah.
And he was there. No one ever looked at me in the eye. They were always looking like this, but I knew they saw me.
Yeah.
Peripheral type stuff. And I could sense he was there. And his presence was like high,
Yeah.
up, like 2-story building high.
Yeah.
And he gave me a sense of, it was like I was being shown that
Mhm.
he has my back
okay,
and that he is for me, and he has always been for me, and that he is my dad. Even though he's my stepdad, he was,
Yeah.
and that's been true. That's played out. He's got my back. His presence was strength to me, and I was shown that on this shroom trip.
wow,
And then and it sort of phases out. It's hard to describe this. So things come, they're like a scene maybe on a movie, and then they phase out, and then sometimes I'd come back into the reality,
Yeah.
and then I wouldn't be here, but a few seconds, it's like something wanted to let me know that everything's still okay,
Yeah.
and then I would go
It's
through
like a super fluid type.
very fluid. I go
Yeah.
back through the kaleidoscope into this other world, and there'd be another scene. Let's say scenes.
Yeah.
So Meredith, my girlfriend, we're good friends now.
So do we have any idea how long it's been so far?
No, but the total thing was about 6 or 7 hours.
Okay. So we're
I
talking
don't
some
know.
pretty decent time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't moved, bro.
You're on the couch, so the love
I'm
seat or
on the
chair, whatever.
edge of a love seat. I believe it was a love seat, and I've not moved. I only moved one time at the very end.
Okay.
So this time I go back into this world, and I'm sensing Meredith, who was my girlfriend at the time, ex-girl. We're friends, but it was kind of a heartbreaking thing. She was my first love. I think we were each other's first loves, and I worried a lot about her. And of course I was anyway. But I saw this bed, and everything's out of your periphery. It's never just directly in front of you.
Yeah.
And this bed was higher than the ceiling, and then it had the post, like the bedpost, the real
Yeah.
tall bedpost. So it went up like almost a 2-story high ceiling, or as high as a single-story roof.
Yeah.
She was laid up on that. Everything was white, solid white, and very clean and bright. And I saw that image for a moment. We never made eye contact. She and I didn't. But that was a message sent to me that she's going to be in a good place. Stop worrying about her.
Okay.
And I know this all sounds crazy, right?
Hey.
Sometimes I share this story and it sounds insane.
No, man.
But it'll
Dude, it's interesting enough to listen to because it was one moment that changed your life as we know it.
it'll make sense in the end.
Yeah.
So let's keep journeying.
Yeah.
So there's that. So these things happen, and then I'm kind of cognitive in real life. I'm going, what is this?
Mhm.
And yeah, you asked the time frame a minute ago. I would guess, looking back, this is probably 2 hours in. And then part of me is like, what is that? Where am I? What am I doing? I was at least aware enough to ask that.
But you could not pull yourself out of it.
Oh no, but it wasn't scary.
Okay.
It
So you
wa-
weren't even trying. You
No,
weren't,
I
you
was
weren't
just
like,
go-
man, I need to get some
No,
coffee."
never anxiety or fear or anything
Okay.
like that. Nothing. I was just going along. It was my reality.
Yeah.
It was my reality. I didn't know the difference, other than I had just a glimpse. So I remember asking kind of the question, like, what is going on, in a positive way. And then this is where it gets interesting. I sense there's a room to walk into, solid white, and people are sitting again. Everything's peripheral and parallel. They're kind of sitting Indian style looking, and it was a very peaceful type room.
Mhm.
Everything's radiant white, and I sensed the presence of what I were angelic beings.
Mhm.
Their waists were in the ceiling, and there was thousands of them, just in a row. And there was this room, and it's hard to. I wish I could draw this out
Yeah.
some way. And so I started sensing that I was supposed to write a song. I was a little bit of a songwriter, I had hits
Yeah.
like Small Town Dreamer and Pull My Rope. And so this tune comes to my head immediately.
Yeah.
And you know what a tag is, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's how you finish the song,
Yeah.
right? Or the last piece of the song. And I was kind of getting, I don't even remember what the melody was, just simple. But I would get to where we were supposed to end. And for some reason, I literally felt total tranquility. Like, I don't even know how to describe. Not peace, not I
Yeah.
feel good,
Yeah.
not I'm having a happy moment.
Yeah.
I'm talking about complete and total tranquility.
Yeah.
I felt like water was like a brook was going through my being,
Yeah.
real calm, and I was all knowing. And I don't remember what I knew, but it's like I remember in this state of mind, progress was irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like we think in terms, we wake up every day and we think we got to make progress.
Right.
And
Be better
this-
tomorrow is about progress.
Be better tomorrow. But in this world, progress didn't matter because you had progressed to the place that you were supposed to be,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
whatever that was. And
Yeah.
we'll unpack that a little bit more. But I felt all knowing, total tranquility. There was a
And
brook.
tranquility, what a beautiful word. We actually heard it today when we were listening to that comedy deal. Whenever he was talking about the me astronaut, he's the Sea of Tranquility was
Yeah.
something that the astronauts named something on the moon, the Sea of
Mhm.
Tranquility. And tranquility is it's like such a perfect. We don't use it enough to overuse it or to.
Mhm.
So when we say tranquility, it gives you a good sense of of the peace, almost
Yeah.
like the biblical thing, right? The peace that passes all understanding.
Mhm.
That's like tranquility, right?
And it's probably the strongest word we can think of, but if there
It's
was,
still short.
it's still short because these things that I was feeling, these feelings that I was experiencing were, and by the way, I would only feel them for like 2 or 3 seconds,
Okay.
and it would go. Can you imagine right now if you had all knowledge and all tranquility, and then it left you? Guess what you would want to do? Want it back.
Yeah.
So then I had a mission. I remember in my head, I've lived 18 years of my life to come to Tyler, Texas, to get in this state of mind on this shrimp tea. Now I've got to figure out this song. It was that clear.
Yeah.
It was my mission. So I tried this song again, and I felt these sensations, the tranquility, the all-knowing, the brook going through me, probably about 5 times, and it would only last 2 or 3 seconds, and it would go away. And I couldn't figure out the ending of the song. And I remember this is the first time I got up, like physically got up.
Yeah.
I walked over to the corner of the room, and I remember I had an unlit cigarette in my hand. I don't know why. I don't even know how long it had been there. And
Did you smoke cigarettes?
yeah.
Of course, you 80s rock hair band
I
guy.
raised my hands like this. No, I wasn't like I wasn't even. By the way, I wasn't thinking God,
At this moment, yeah.
Jesus, Bible,
Yeah.
church, Holy Spirit, vacation Bible school. So I
Right.
wasn't thinking any of that.
You're just trying to figure out.
I'm just like, how do I get there? It literally like, how do I get there?
Yeah.
And we doing okay on everything?
Yeah.
Time and everything. So I like raised my hands like because I wanted to go there so bad. Like it was it wasn't like, oh, this is a good idea. It's option 1 of 10. Like this was it. I
Mhm.
wanted to go over to this room and this world and this crossover.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if that meant I was going to die or whatever. Anyway, I wasn't able to finish the song or whatever. I just couldn't wrap it up for some reason in my mind.
Mhm.
And I remember like literally had a tear in my eye and I was going, how? And so, dude, like Jesus walks in front of me.
You're standing in the corner.
I'm standing in the corner, man. And again, keep in mind, I'm not thinking this is a spirit. I was pretty mad at God, or not mad at God. I just didn't care, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Yeah, you're a rock band.
And I wasn't on a spiritual journey on these shrooms. I was just a dumb teenager experimenting.
Yeah.
And so, like literally, like if I saw you at the store, I'd be like, "Hey, Levi," because I know you. So this presence walked in front of me, like Jesus. It was almost like a surprise, like Jesus. And I instantly came off the drugs. I remember the noise in my head and went shunk. And I'm like, as in reality as I am right now. And
Wow.
I turn around like nobody's left at this party, if you even want to call it, but my buddy Aaron. We need to have him on here. I was like, he's looking at me all crazy, like, dude, where you been? And all I could think to say is, I saw God. And then,
So did you see Jesus as the person? Like, did you see him as we think we know Jesus looks?
that's a good question. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, white. Everything was white. Like
Yeah.
all of the people were radiant white. He was wearing radiant white clothes, and it wasn't like he wasn't on a throne high and lifted. He was just walking by like anyone would normally walk by, and he just kind of walked past me. Again, everything kind of happened in
Yeah.
a peripheral type way. And I recognized him and, said
Yeah.
his name.
Have you ever, rabbit trail, have you ever seen the picture of the 4-year-old girl that drew Jesus?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah.
that not an astounding photo?
I know.
There's something weird about it.
Yeah. I can't remember his face so much.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. I remember that.
Yeah.
So that's that. So that's kind of my shroom trip.
So you came out of it that quick. There was no small decline. There was no easy let up. The hallucinations start to slow down. It was just from one moment to zoom, gone.
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
Then I had this thought like there were going to be demons breaking the door and send me to hell because I'd missed my. I really thought I'd missed it. I thought a window, like the universe had opened a window for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that real to me. The universe had opened a window and I missed the opportunity.
Yeah.
And it took me probably a couple hours to go, dude, those were some good drugs. You know, that was kind of,
Yeah.
but it did something to me. So here's continuing real quick. I hope we're doing okay.
Oh,
on
we're
time.
fine, man. We're 40 minutes.
Then this
Got
is
lots of
where
time.
the change came. There was something that happened there. I don't know. God, this is what I'm trying to reconcile now as a 52-year-old man. I found out that night my mom had been praying for me all night long.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Because she didn't know where you were, or she just.
She just knew I was just burdensome, man. I was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
To my mom, and I'm her only child, right? So she was carrying this burden.
Yeah.
And she was like standing over in my room that night. I learned this way later after this, and she was like, "God, I can't take the burden of dealing with this kid anymore." And she felt like God said, "Well, then give him to me."
Wow.
And so she just like released me. And she'll even tell you to this day, like she doesn't even worry about me anymore. I mean, she loves me, but I mean, from that day, she's just like, "That's not my boy, that's God."
Yeah,
you know, or
we're
something.
sitting in East Texas saying she was born in 1910, and she's like, "Wah." Until she watches it, then she's mad.
Mm-mm. She's not mad. So that did something to me, man. It's like I remember, even though it took me again about 2 hours to kind of debrief myself on it.
Yeah.
And then, went to bed.
After action review.
AR. But then something was different in the way I thought, man. And again, was it Jesus? Was it the shrooms? Was it both? I don't know, man. I'm trying to reconcile all that. So, like the next day, we still not able to get our drugs, that we came down there to get. So our friends are like, "Well, hey, let's go to another party tonight."
Mm-hmm.
And they've got pure LSD.
Oh gosh.
And I had done acid a couple of times.
Yeah.
It wasn't, last 6-8 hours, not that big a deal. So we did this pure LSD. 26 hours trip.
Dude.
I was watching tables melt.
Did you sleep from your mushroom deal to this?
A little bit.
Okay.
But this LSD was the most evil thing I've ever done in my life.
And it was like
I was
droplet, like a Listerine strip almost? or
No, it's
something?
it's a little stamp you put on your yeah, like a Listerine, but they're small. They're little.
Okay.
They're little, like a communion wafer, little, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And did that. My friend Aaron, man, I was seeing my arm turn to ash. I was seeing spiders, and it kind of feels good at first, but when you get 26 hours deep into it, and you can't go to bed, people are like, "Why didn't you just go to bed?" No, you lay down, it's even worse. You trip even harder.
Yeah.
And we had to drive back from Tyler.
Did
to
you
Russellville.
ever get the ecstasy?
No. we ended up getting like 3 or 4 8 balls of cocaine. I was a wild kid, man. I was a wild dude back then. No, we never got the ecstasy, but we got cocaine. Crazy story.
Hey man, can I have ecstasy pill? No, but I got some crack.
No, I've got shrooms and acid and cocaine.
Yeah.
But this acid trip, I don't want to get into it, but it too deep. But it's I feel like I say that all the time. I don't want to get into that. But it was scary, man. Like straight up.
Like demons.
Mm-hmm.
Coming
I
after you,
was seeing purple-hued, banana-headed demon figures when I would close my eyes. So there was no going to sleep.
Yeah.
I remember I walked over to the mall. We passed the mall today. I walked over to the mall because that apartment's right down by there. I got lost. Scary. My friend Aaron, he was tripping hard, man. He'd go in the little bathroom, get lost, couldn't figure his way out. It's messes with your head.
So can you like see?
You can see.
Yeah. Okay.
You can like when your arm turns to a cigarette ash, you just kind of shake it off.
Okay. So
We heard audible hallucinations too. Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. We were driving down the road, and it literally was, "Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games."
So
we turned it off.
So it was actually on, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
just
actually
down
on.
in your head.
Mm-hmm. It was an audible hallucination. It was on. So we drove back in the storm, in the rain. We finally made it back. And I remember just thinking, God, I'll never even do an aspirin again in my life if you can just pull me through this. And, Aaron sometimes would touch me. He's like, "Dude, are you still there?" We're driving like a little Plymouth Horizon car.
Yeah.
It was weird, dude. That's not the point. The point is the shrooms. I think LSD is a bad thing,
Yeah.
but the shrooms opened something up there that I still process. It changed my life from that day. From the days following, I just wasn't the same, man, in a positive way. I felt more encouraged, smarter, healthier. I
Yeah.
didn't want to live the lifestyle I had been living anymore, and so I leaned into, to God as best I understood.
Yeah. And mostly because you didn't have, maybe because you didn't have a better way to explain it.
Yeah, I mean, I think God was there, no doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a believer. I have faith. Not as dogmatic as some certain theological bents are that maybe I used to be,
Yeah.
but certainly God was involved there and
Yeah.
doing some stuff there. But you just kind of go to what you know. Mine happened to be a little Assemblies of God churches in Arkansas, which
Yeah.
I went from being a rock, literally, dude. I went from being like in a rock band to going to a bluegrass Southern gospel style church
Yeah.
within probably 2 weeks
Yeah.
with banjos and fiddles. Yeah.
I'll
Fly
fly away,
away,
oh
oh
glory,
glory, I'll
I'll
fly
fly away.
away in the morning.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that stuff, man. So I went to that. I
Uh,
went to, you know,
from pulling my rope to
breaking the law, boom, boom, breaking the law too. I'll fly away,
yeah,
And so and it was
yeah,
weird. And so some people in Arkansas thought I lost my mind.
yeah.
Literally, they were like, "Dude, you took a trip and you never came back."
Did you cut your hair?
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I cut my hair and sold my drums, and
You sold your drums?
mm-hmm.
Oh, I bet that's a
I
regret.
had I had converted, man.
Converted.
Yeah, and God did something in my life, but
Yeah,
but and I agree. I'm a believer. I'm a Christian, but yeah, man, it's just interesting how psilocybin did something. I think it opened something up in my head,
yeah,
and I've heard many stories of how
yeah.
it has brought healing and help to
Well, the
people.
Paul, what's his last name? Paul
Stamens.
Stamens, had a mushroom interaction. He went up on top of a hill and climbed a tree, like an oak tree, like super high, and he got super lightning. And he tells a story that he got down off of the tree because he realized it was super dangerous. And the next morning, he was walking down the street, and there was this girl he had a crush on, but he was like,
Mm.
yeah, he stood no chance with this girl, right? And he would never look people in the eyes because he stuttered bad. And then he tells a story that when you stutter and you look people in the eyes, it puts a lot of pressure on you, and the pressure makes you stutter worse. And he said for the first time in his life, he looked up, looked her in the eyes, and she said, "Hello, Paul. How are you?" And he said, "Good. How are you?"
Oh wow.
Mushrooms essentially fixed the pathways, the electric pathways in his brain, and he's never stuttered after that. So like you believe what you want to believe on this stuff, but there's something to that, right? It's like
Yeah.
there's something to the fact that you came to Tyler, Texas, took a quote drug, if that's
Uh-huh.
what you want to call it, and then it changed your life, man. You were never the same after that.
Right, right. It did. And if you look at some of the studies out there, they hook up. What is it? They hook up and they read your brain while people are on shrooms.
Yeah.
And both hemispheres are connecting and firing. I will say I did do shrooms one more time after that. I apparently took, what do they call it? A hero dose. I think is what I took. I didn't even know what I was taking, but
Do you know how many grams that you took? Do you have any idea?
I forget what a hero dose is. It's a lot. I know I drank a good sized coffee mug of this. Of course, it depends how concentrated it
Yeah.
was. From everyone I've talked to, I took a hero dose.
Okay.
I mean, a hero dose, like if you don't take a hero dose, you're going to be aware. So mine was so strong that I was not aware, or it took a long time to become
Yeah.
aware. But I did some after that on a pizza. And me and my buddy could read each other's minds.
Oh wow. You and Aaron?
No, another buddy.
Okay.
A guy named Shane.
How was Aaron's trip that night?
His was not, that's what I'm saying. Nobody had the experience that I had.
Yeah.
That I'm aware of. Like the other people had left, but Aaron didn't have that experience.
So his experience ended before yours, and he was just waiting on you to come back.
I guess, yeah. I had to ask him that. Of course, he got sick. I think he puked before, so
Yeah.
he may have puked a lot of it up. I
Oh,
didn't.
okay. Yeah.
So mine. I guess I just got the greater dose out of everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
So super cool, man. Like And I think it's interesting that there can be these transformational moments in life,
Yeah.
regardless of how that happens, where you just decide, or something happens to you that makes you decide
Yeah.
that I'm just not going to live that way anymore.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, you're in law enforcement, so can put you on the spot a little bit. So, what do you think about the use of psychedelic drugs?
Well,
I know you
here's
can't, right? 'Cause,
sure,
yeah, I get
yeah,
that.
and
But
one of the reasons why you can't use uh, it's kind of disbars you from law enforcement altogether is because the science says that when you consume a hallucinogen made of a fungus, that it
hmm
can store in your spinal cord,
hmm
and that a wrong hit or a wrong crash or movement
mm.
wrong could reactivate that a fungus in your body and send you on another wild
So if
ride.
I got hit in the back hard, I could go back
Maybe,
and
maybe.
yeah.
So the law enforcement says, the drug recognition expert world says that a drug is any substance that, when taken into the human body, can impair the ability of the person to operate a vehicle
hmm
safely.
hmm
So here's what I care about. I care about drugs that, like when you were operating your vehicle on the way back to Dardanelle, the sand lizard country, on acid,
Yeah,
you
that
were
was probably.
incredibly unsafe,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so obviously, like, that's a no-no. But and then what else I care about, and well, I just listened to to someone say that they used to think that it was Jelly Roll. I've been on this big kick about Jelly Roll. Man, that guy is really smart, and he's got a lot of
Mm.
good stuff to say. And he said that he spent a lot of time in his youth in prison or jail, and he said that he used to think drug dealing was a victimless crime.
Mm.
And one day he realized that his daughter was suffering from his drug dealing habits
Mm.
because he was in jail all the time. And so he realized that drug dealing wasn't a victimless crime, just he wasn't the victim.
Mm.
And so a lot of these drugs, like methamphetamines and like heroin and narcotics, like things like this, like now we're seeing in law enforcement, we're seeing a lot of CNS, like depressants like gabapentin and Xanax, Xanny bars and stuff
Mhm.
hit the market, where they're depressing these people so bad and it's ruining their lives,
Oh yeah,
right?
man.
And
If
so
you mix a benzodiazepine, which would be a Xanax
yeah, they
or
call
an
it a benzo,
Ativan,
yeah.
or an Ativan or lorazepam with
Yeah.
alcohol, I've accidentally done that before because I had to take benzodiazepines once.
Yeah.
Like it's like everything says don't mix with alcohol.
Yeah.
Don't mix that with alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a double dose.
It's like
They're
like
both in the
literally.
CNS suppressant
Oh
category.
yes, yes. Like you can drink 2 beers and take 1 milligram of a Benny. It's like you drink 12 beers.
So, interesting bit of information. What happens to your body? Your body is always trying to maintain a level of what we call homeostasis.
Mm-hmm.
It's the normal
Peace.
operating peace. It's the tranquility of the body,
Mhm.
right? And what happens is when you take what's called a stimulant, which gives you uppers, right? Gives your body the hormones and things that up your mood. Your body wants to get back to homeostasis. So what does it do? It starts to naturally produce all of the opposites of those hormones
Mm-hmm.
to get you back to homeostasis, but it's not very good regulatory
Yeah.
at that, because you've taken something that it can't produce. So what it happens is it produces too much depressants,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come down. You come from your homeostasis. You come up on the stimulant. Your body produces things, and you come way below
Way
baseline.
down. Yeah.
So when you are doing these, so when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, you're doing this
Ecstasy.
cocaine and ecstasy. What's happening is you're giving these pills to up your body and your
Mhm.
mood,
The
but then they
dopamine.
come down and it falls, right?
The only time I ever thought about literally killing myself was coming off of cocaine. One time.
Yeah. And the reason why, biologically, the reason why is because your body has tried to return you to homeostasis and it's brought you too far.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the same could be said with the opposite. So when you take a CNS depressant, your body tries to hype you up. That's why
Mm-hmm.
one of the signs of a person overdosing on a CNS depressant, which would be like a Xanny, a benzo, alcohol, is a rapid, weak pulse. Your
Mhm.
body's trying to bring you back up
Mhm.
into the world. So my outlook on this
You've
stuff,
studied this a lot, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
And my outlook on the drugs of the world is like, man, as with anything, I don't care what you do in your own time.
Mhm.
But when you take, so like when you take your leisure and affect the safety of someone else,
Mhm.
that bothers me.
Mhm.
Right? So
Yeah.
like if you want to get drunk, daddy.
You're
Have at it, bro.
you're good. You're good. You've got a pretty good record of
Yeah,
getting
decently.
DWIs.
Not the best. But I am trying, not the best in the state, but I'm trying to be among the best.
Mhm.
So that's my outlook on drugs, and most importantly, man, what I am most important with, and I want people to hear this very, very clearly. I am interested in psychology. I'm interested in
Mhm.
biology. I'm interested in physics. I'm interested how these things all collide, and I'm interested in how something in a singular moment um, can change someone's life forever. Because
Yeah.
look at what look at what you could have been and what you became,
Yeah.
and how many lives have affected you, that you have affected, including mine, in major ways. Right? I'm not talking about
Yeah.
just some like small
Yeah.
coincidence. I'm talking about major ways of changing my life.
Yeah. Thank you. When I meant to say, I was just reminded one thing that I saw in that trip was me. I saw me
Yeah.
again
In the future, or
mhm,
as you were,
in the future.
like in the future as you
Cl-
were, or as you could be.
I would say as I am now,
Okay.
or especially back when I was at
Yeah.
18. I've had other things since then, but I was seeing the 18. I knew who the 18-year-old me was at the time, but I was
Yeah.
seeing a happier, brighter, wider 18-year-old me.
Yeah.
And again, I give credit to God.
Yeah.
Because I know my mom was praying, but the shrooms were certainly a vehicle.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. Someone asked me one time if I would do them again. I don't know. I don't know that I need to. That's why I think it's a different bucket.
Yeah.
Like psychedelics are not like, oh yeah, like I got to go get some more.
Yeah.
You do the one or twice. It's not like that. It's
Yeah.
not like cocaine where you're going, oh my god, I need to go get more and more
Sure.
and more and more. And again, we're not promoting drugs, but
No.
it,
Not in the least bit.
I would encourage people to study
Yeah.
psychedelics. There's a lot of stuff out there
And
now.
it's interesting stuff. It
Lots
really
of
is.
stuff.
They
And
talk
and
about
a lot
it.
of beneficial stuff.
Sure. Yeah. So and I agree, and I'm just most interested in what, I think the story is powerful because, again, we're in the arena podcast, and we're talking about, how how we've overcome the challenges in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for us to do that, we have to lay the baseline. So this episode was about laying the baseline of how Marty became Marty.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't, he didn't grow up to be some cush, guy who just was a perfect student and a perfect person, and you just blossom into who you are today.
Mm-hmm.
You earned that. And you
Mhm.
earned that through learning, and through being an outlaw, and
Mhm.
through some drug stories. And now you have a story to give because you
Yeah.
have been there, and really in some ways overcame that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it seems like it's easy, but you still had choices to make.
Yeah.
Like, you still had to do the right thing. Right?
But that's yes. I think what you're getting at is that set me up. That baseline. I think you used that word.
Yeah.
And have had a pretty happy life in many
Yeah.
ways.
And
A
so
lot of mistakes, but I mean, it set me up for marriage and kids, and
Yeah.
just the first and most immediate thing was like mine and my parents' relationship was just instantly good.
Yeah.
I remember that it was just instantly good. It went from all this tension to now my parents are my best friends.
and I think it's cool to see, and almost not essential, but really what we're trying to do is like lay the foundation of why listen to Marty Thomas, right?
Mhm.
What does he have to say that's going to be
Mhm.
life changing, life altering? Like, what can Levi Eaton say to someone that says, you know what, I take hold of that, and I'm going to listen and maybe apply that in my life. Well, we're laying that foundation, right?
Mhm.
And one of the reasons is because, like, you lived it, man. You're an outlaw. You're an '80s hair band rock guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, you weren't, like, you just, it's not like we're standing up here on a soapbox and saying this is the way that you should live your life, right? Like, we, like, in a lot of ways, we like earned it, right?
Mhm.
We're just giving you that. Just, it feels like we're just giving that kind of, I don't know, resume.
Mhm.
We're gonna do that in the next podcast.
Yeah, we're going to learn about you.
Yeah.
And I get to hear your story and ask you some questions.
Yeah.
You've got some interest. You're an interesting person.
Sometimes as we both are, I think that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Right? And our stories are gonna go to other people and to ask other people questions, and it's gonna be a cool deal.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So what else?
How we doing on time?
1 hour
We're
and
trying to keep
55 minutes.
1 hour and 55 minutes.
1 hour and
And
1 hour and 1 hour and 1 minute and 1
Well,
second,
I
2
gotcha.
second, 3 second, 4 second. I could keep going.
Well, we'll wrap it up, man. And I think we did it like we did last time. I want to tell you, Levi, I do love you,
And I love you too, Marty Thomas.
and the world needs more love.
Yeah, man. See y'all.
See ya.